Hello and welcome. I'm Craig Harrington, and today's topic is a summary of America's economic condition. There are many problems facing the United States, and all of them are tied together in some way which drags our economy down. The wholesale sellout of our strategic assets and industries has resulted in overseas investors acquiring over 16,000 U.S. companies in the past 30 years. This has sped the decline of American industries, particularly our heavy and high-tech industries, like steel, textile, automobile, machine, and electronics manufacturing. Our domestic industries are either being bought out or bankrupted from their competition abroad. Even much of the book publishing, news media, and movie business in the United States is foreign-owned. The decline of American industry has resulted in what little manufacturing we still hold being internationally uncompetitive. American manufacturers suffer extra costs due to domestic taxation, health and pension benefits, litigation and regulation fees, and environmental and safety standards. Their competition often do not have to deal with these obstacles, making their production much cheaper than the United States substitutes. As our industries have declined, we have become ever more dependent on imported goods and services to substitute those that we used to produce ourselves. We've since lost the ability to produce most of the consumption in the U.S. In 2008, the United States economy lost $677 billion via its import deficit alone. In 2007, we imported $321 billion worth of goods from just China. And during that same time, 2007, the Chinese economy, their protected economy, bought just $62 billion worth of goods from us. This massive imbalance will continue to grow into the future unless something is done. The massive trade imbalance is a net transfer of wealth from our economy into the economies of other countries around the world. In the past 8 years, the United States economy has been drained of nearly $4.8 trillion by our foreign producers. The trade deficit dampens and reverses economic growth here in the United States. It cuts domestic consumption and it forces domestic employers to cut their workforce. In 2008, the United States economy lost 3.6 million jobs, and this was pushed by our increasing trade deficit. In 2009, the deficit helped push another 1.2 million job losses. Aside from the problems presented by what is leaving this country, particularly our money and our jobs, there's also a huge problem regarding what is coming into the United States. The United States insources foreign manufacturers, particularly automakers, despite their competition with U.S. industries. No other country in the world would pursue such a policy. These foreign manufacturers receive benefits from our government and their own, putting them at a distinct advantage against homegrown alternatives. The business done by these insourced companies accounts for massive revenue losses by American manufacturers and represents a huge cost to the American taxpayers who are forced to subsidize the overseas competition which is putting them out of work. Our government has lost so much of its ability to raise revenue domestically through tax and import policy that it finds itself dependent on foreign loans to maintain operations. In many cases, the same countries which supply our goods also supply our loans. In essence, our competition is also bankrolling our government, a recipe for disaster and conflicting interests. The United States government has put no reasonable limits on the amount of outsourcing which can be done by American companies. It is now profitable for a U.S.-based firm to send key manufacturing, research, design, and labor projects overseas, where that firm can then take advantage of low wages and lax health and safety standards. This puts even more Americans out of work, increasing the stress on our already battered economy. Outsourcing has created an American economy dependent on the banking and service sector for its growth. We have lost the value-producing industrial capacity which once made this nation so powerful. And now, even those service sector jobs, which were once so coveted here in the U.S., are being sent overseas where living standards are lower and corporate profit margins can grow unchecked. We have lost the economic prowess we once enjoyed, but we have also lost the scientific and technical gap which allowed this country to grow so rapidly. China, Japan, India, and Europe produce a higher quality student than the United States, and after buying so many of our high-tech firms, Those countries offer better employment opportunities to their people than we can to ours. Instead of investing our wealth into productive assets like manufacturing and industrial goods, Americans have shifted their wealth into unproductive holdings like real estate and gambling devices like the stock market. As a result, we now have record levels of government and personal debt, all of which is increasing daily because of the money lost on household liabilities and market fluctuations. Our government misleads its own people by showing them an ever-increasing streak of GDP growth. But the gross domestic product means very little if this nation fails to actually produce anything substantial. Our GDP is now based on home sales, stock market growth, and the amount of foreign-made products we consume. None of this represents a sustainable future. Our trade and economic policies for the past several decades are proven failures, and they are driving this economy into the ground. Entanglements with NAFTA, the World Trade Organization, and others have hamstrung our ability to act in our own interests. Our competition uses devices like import blockades and the value-added tax to undermine American exporters, and our government continues to allow the sale of U.S. industries into foreign hands. All of these are facilitating our downfall. We need to stop this collapse before it is completely out of our control. On behalf of concerned citizens, I'm Craig Harrington with economyincrisis.org News.
Wake up, America! Open up your eyes! Wake up, America! Wake up!
Produced by economyincrisis.org.